Welcome to Facts for Real videos. Although this megacity was intended to house millions of people, it nevertheless has a sparse population. Meanwhile, Egypt is creating a brand new megacity in the middle of the desert that will eventually house 6.5 million people and have the highest structure in the world. Will they be able to fill it with people even if no one has moved in as of today? Then there are proposals to relocate Jakarta, one of the biggest cities in the world, to an undeveloped, jungle-surrounded parcel of land. What is happening then? Why do nations create brand new cities from scratch? Now, we want to go deeply into these odd cities' actual happenings and examine whether or not these brand new planned communities are succeeding. Let's begin with Naypyidaw, Myanmar's brand new capital. Between 2002 and 2012, a brand new capital city was constructed from the ground up. It is presently the third largest city in terms of area in Myanmar and has all the amenities a city could possibly require, but it has earned a reputation as a haunting ghost capital. This city has a much smaller population than anticipated. In addition to having a glaring lack of people, it also has a very enigmatic purpose. The official justification for the construction of Naypyidaw is that Yangon, the former capital of Myanmar, is overpopulated and has limited room to grow. Nonetheless, there is some evidence that points to a possible military strategy as the true motivation behind the construction of this odd new capital. For instance, the city's development cost about $5 billion and was secretly built for a very long time by about 25 different construction companies. Then, all of a sudden, in 2005, the government said that it would relocate its headquarters from Yangon to this brand new city that hardly anyone had ever heard of. Nevertheless, there's more. It is challenging for any enemy to conquer the capital due to the city's isolated location and weak access to the sea. Furthermore, getting from one area of the city to another is challenging due to the odd and inefficient layout of the road system. Moreover, a 20-lane highway exists that is wide enough to act as an airport runway. Nonetheless, this tactical choice might not just be defensive in nature. The location of this new capital is intended to strengthen the government's grip over these core territories because in the past it was challenging for it to maintain control over the areas surrounding Naypyidaw. Naypyidaw appears to be the world's oddest capital city overall. The current total population is still only around 750,000 people, despite the fact that it is expanding by roughly 6% annually. The government had originally anticipated hosting 9 million people in Naypyidaw, but this figure is far less. Strangely enough, though, Myanmar was not the only nation to choose to relocate its capital in 2002. The Sejong administrative city was first proposed in South Korea in 2002 as a solution to the nation's uneven economic growth and the congested capital city of Seoul. Since the project has been a contentious political issue. Seoul, the nation's economic hub, is crowded like most major cities. But it's more severe in South Korea than it is elsewhere. In the Seoul metropolitan area, half of the country's population resides. About 25 million people, in all. As a result, Sejong's construction started in 2007 and, just 125 kilometers distant, government organizations started relocating there in 2012. All government offices were supposed to move by 2012, however, as of right now, the National Assembly and about half of the government departments are still located in Seoul. Sejong has been planned with plenty of green space and room for electric vehicles. It has everything a self-sufficient city requires. The city also has smart technology, such as automatic garbage and food waste collection and interactive digital signage. Strangely, though, a lot of individuals still choose to travel for hours to work in Seoul rather than relocate to Sejong. Several have said that Sejong lacks the services and transportation options necessary to lure visitors away from Seoul. Sejong is accused for encouraging car dependence and a lack of community feeling despite its futuristic plan for upscale housing with copious green areas. Nevertheless, Sejong might only be getting warmed up. Sejong's population of 400,000 people today pales in comparison to Greater Seoul's 25 million inhabitants. Families are starting to look outside of Seoul for better living circumstances as pollution, overpopulation, rising real estate prices, and high traffic persist. More institutions and companies are moving to Sejong as building on the future capital advances. In 2030, Sejong is scheduled to formally become the capital of South Korea, and by then, the city's population is projected to exceed 500,000. The city is then anticipated to grow naturally from there. Only time will be able to tell whether Sejong will be able to realize its ambitious aim and move all government operations there within the next 7 years. Although not the only brand new cities being created from start, Sejong and Naypyidaw are. In addition to NEOM in Saudi Arabia, Bitcoin City in El Salvador, and Egypt's new administrative capital, there are many other new city initiatives underway around the globe. The latter has advanced significantly thus far and seems to be one of the biggest and most anticipated new cities. Just 80 kilometers to the east of Cairo, Egypt's current capital, is where the country's future administrative center will be built. The new city will eventually house 6.5 million people as well as the government. That represents almost 70% of Cairo's present-day population. Although the new city is currently almost completely empty, the first residents are anticipated to arrive this year. But an appropriate name for the future capital is still lacking. In order to find a name and a logo for the new administrative capital, the Egyptian government even sponsored a competition. But why is Egypt even constructing such a large city? We only need to take a brief look at Cairo to find the solution. Over 10 million people call Cairo home right now, while over 21 million people call the broader Cairo area home. And by 2050, 38 million people are anticipated to be living in this country. Abdel Fattah el-Sisi, the newly elected president, therefore suggested this enormous megaproject in 2014 to reduce Cairo's growing traffic congestion and overcrowding. Government, residential, and commercial structures are now clearly complete, indicating that work is advanced. The administration assured citizens that the pace of development had not been impacted even throughout the pandemic. That the task was completed on schedule. The government district is currently 98% finished, and the first government agencies are prepared to relocate and start conducting all of their business in the new city in 2023. An international airport, a stadium and entertainment center, a monorail to Cairo, and spectacular mosques and churches will all be included in Egypt's new administrative capital. In addition, the city is home to the iconic tower, the highest building in Africa now that it has achieved its full height. But if all goes as planned, the iconic tower won't hold onto this title for very long. In its future capital city, Egypt intends to begin building a far taller skyscraper this year. This skyscraper, which will go by the name of Obelisko Capital, will soar to an astonishing height of 1 kilometer, making it the tallest structure on Earth. The government of Egypt sold land to pay for the construction of the new city, while China loaned billions of dollars to cover the costs. Moreover, a Chinese construction firm is also finishing up work on the iconic tower. These financial relationships and reliance on China are a recurrent topic of heated political discussion in the nation. Concerns have also been raised regarding the megaproject as a whole, as it may turn into a wealthy Egyptians-only city. This would prevent Cairo from attracting business and investment. It can result in increasing poverty and population growth in Cairo. There is no question that this new metropolis is taking shape, but it is unclear whether or not it will be a success and how many people will actually relocate there. In Indonesia, there is now construction on another building. The new city of Nusantara will take the place of the present capital Jakarta, just like Egypt's new administrative city did. Indonesian governments have discussed relocating the nation's administrative capital from Jakarta since the 1950s. A bill to move the capital to a jungle location more than 2,000 kilometers away on a different island was finally approved by the parliament in January 2022. But why would the Indonesian government spend so much time and money on moving the nation's capital so far away, and when will it actually happen? With over 11 million residents in the city proper and about 30 million in the larger Jakarta urban area, Jakarta is renowned for its crowded living conditions and pollution, which is full of the noise and exhaust from motorbikes. Moreover, it is the city that is sinking the quickest in the world, dropping 2.5 meters in the 10 years before to 2019, with an increase in the frequency of flooding. According to a research recently released by Indonesia's National Research and Innovation Agency, 25% of Jakarta will be underwater by 2050 if no immediate action is taken. The study determined that growing groundwater misuse is the primary factor contributing to Jakarta's subsidence. Also, as a result of sea level rise and an increase in the frequency of extreme weather, both flash flooding from the sea and upriver are being caused by climate change. Despite the 47-kilometer seawall being built along the receding shoreline, a mosque and a few homes have already been lost to the sea. The Indonesian government chose the island of Borneo as the site for its future capital because of Jakarta's dire state. When you fly above Borneo's jungles now, you can see that the initial stages of development have already started. Trees have already been removed from roads, access routes, and the locations of the important government buildings. The name of the new metropolis is Nusantara, and it will be established on a 2,500 square kilometers plot of land, roughly 3 times the size of New York City, the majority of which is still covered in rainforest. There are several reasons why Nusantara should be located here. Borneo is more Indonesian than Jakarta, which is located on the island of Java, both geographically and culturally. The construction of Nusantara is anticipated to reduce Jakarta's congestion while fostering economic development in Borneo and throughout Indonesia. Furthermore, compared to low-lying Java and other islands that are vulnerable to flooding, earthquakes, and volcanic eruptions, Borneo has a far lower incidence rate of natural disasters. 5 phases will be used to construct the new city. In August 2022, a ceremonial spade was used to break ground for Stage 1. Stage 5 is expected to be finished in 2045, when Nusantara's population is expected to surpass 2 million. According to current estimates, the project will cost $32 billion, of which 40% will come from private investments made by Indonesian and foreign businesses. The goal is for the government to relocate to Nusantara in 2024. However, given the construction's current pace, this seems doubtful. Recently, a delegation from the Japanese government visited the site but later withdrew their investment. As a result, the Indonesian government is now seeking to affluent Middle Eastern countries like Saudi Arabia and the United Arab Emirates. China is probably going to be a major player in the construction of Nusantara, much like it was in Egypt. Only time will tell if Nusantara will ever be finished and if it will be a success with millions of people moving in, just like Naypyidaw, Sijon, and Egypt's new capital. Do you support creating these brand new megacities from the ground up? Would you choose to call one of them home? Tell us in the comments section below. Check out our film about the line in Saudi Arabia to learn more about another city that was completely rebuilt. We appreciate your time and hope to see you in the next video.